Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox. I'm here with Keith Gleason of the Mighty Mascots fame. How you doing?
Good, John. Thanks for having me on your show. Finally, great to connect on here, you know?
Yeah. We've been orbiting, but
yes.
There's always been the sun blocking us in the way, but we've always been orbiting. Well, I mean, I first got your comics when I discovered Alterna Comics. The story I always tell, that it was Fourth World Comics out here on Long Island, and I walked in there.
Okay.
What was the name of the comic? Something Mother Russia, I think it was called. It was like
yeah.
And it was $1.50, and I'm looking at it and I got confused. And I said, "Is this an old comic? Why don't I know this? Why don't I? $1.50. This has got to be like 1999. Why don't I know this?"
Yeah, right.
So I brought it up to the counter. The guy was like, "No, it's a new company. That's the cover." So I just went and bought everything by, why not? $1.50. And
awesome.
So I got and then I was getting all the bundles, everything. I remember one month, I'm pretty sure if memory serves, it was like your comic, T-Bird and Throttle, Wolf and Batsy, Horace H. Hoover, Blood Realm. This was before Pete did King Cryptids, but it was just like, why doesn't everybody know about this? Why doesn't everybody know about this? There was such and it was glorious newsprint. So
yeah, no, I mean, I was there at the height of all that newsprint, the mania, I guess, if you want to say it. It was like a year into Pete doing newsprint over there. And then he was distributing with Diamond still at the time. And yeah, it was really good. We got a lot of reach from Mighty Mascots, along with all the other creators that were out. They did really well with their books. And then the COVID came around and, kind of killed all that stuff and became more of like a crowdfunding thing. And that's kind of when I left, But yeah, those couple of years that I was there, I was really, really happy with it. And I love seeing, like you said, like books. The books were in other stores all over, the country, which was really cool to see,
Yeah, I went to Pizza Betty with my comic because I just wanted, because my whole comic book aesthetic is supposed to be it's Bronze Age. It's like 80s,
I like that.
Early 90s, superheroes. Yeah. I call it blue sky superheroes, like hopeful and good. Nothing like The Boys, nothing makes your stomach hurt. And I'm like, I just want it on newsprint. And then Pete hemmed it hard, and he was just like, it's a little too much like Superman, and he said no. But I was like, could you at least let me know where I could get newsprint?
Have you looked into that at all? Like I tried to look into it myself, and it seems like it's kind of hard to do it on if it's only your comic.
Right. That's just it. That's what Pete was saying. It's not cost prohibitive for a small print run.
It really
and then my buddy Mike, his brother-in-law runs a printing press here on Long Island.
Oh, okay.
They print like newspapers, literal newspaper. So I asked him, he goes, "Oh yeah, we can print your comic. Minimum order is 20,000.
Oh my God. That's why they've locked out like small creators, because there's no way that anyone could absorb that much.
I mean, I got my camera over here and I just realized I got like dirty t-shirts over here, but I'm in the middle of fulfilling. And if I was to turn the camera around, there's post office boxes. Did you know that you could get free boxes from the post office delivered to your house?
I didn't know about I knew they give you the priority ones for free, right? Is that
yeah? I went to the post office with boxes, because I knew I was gonna be, so I've been just keeping beat up boxes in the basement. And, and the guy was like, you just go online. So I clicked the button, and past 2 days I got 100 boxes delivered.
Oh, nice.
And that's then really I also cool. got Gemini. Just because I got boxes for pint glasses and other things like that. But anyway, long story short, I could only imagine with my small print run, all this mess.
Yeah, like where would it go?
Turn the camera around because it's just piles of what 20,000 comics would be.
Yeah, that's what my basement's become. Like half of my basement is a fulfillment center now, and the other half is like my office, basically. So it's become like kind of a man cave, I guess. There's some cool things down here, but it's more, more working, kind of space. But I hear you, man. It overwhelms you.
Apartment.
What's we have a house.
Okay, yeah. But I was in a 1-bedroom apartment in Queens, and my wife and I are both shit hoarders. So it was just, so you can imagine. And now we got a house. It's like, like 3 times the size. Still a small house, but it's bigger than a 1-bedroom. This basement is just everything I've like over here. It's all board games. Over here, it's toys, and behind these comics. And I still don't.
I mean, there's like that fine line between collecting and hoarding, right?
Yes. I've crossed into hoarding to the point, right? This box is filled with cords.
Oh wow!
I've become the meme that men can't throw away cords. I'm gonna need that someday. I'm gonna need cords someday.
That's hilarious. I'm like right there. I'm on the tipping scale. I could go either way at this point.
I have old glasses. Why do I still keep them up?
Do you have like the collectible glasses with like characters?
No, like my glasses. They're scratched, but I'm not throwing them away.
Hey, you might need a pair someday.
My family used to joke that I was going to get killed by stacks of comic books. I was like, that's the way I want to go. Doing what I love,
right? Getting smacked in the face with the Kirby crackle.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm going to address the chat, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
So we got Marcus Kellegrew. How you doing, Marcus? Marcus, I see you saw. I'm not going to be. I usually do a show on Friday nights at 8 p.m., but I'm just going to skip it this week because I really want to finish getting everything out by Saturday. The post office closes at 4:00. I'm hoping I can get 2 or 3 trips into the post office Saturday and finish.
That's awesome.
And Zach 10, he's always with the drive-by blessing. Here's your links. We'll bring up your links in a minute.
Yeah.
And F Pete then, yeah. Hey, Fabrizio, guys, listen to Fabrizio is the creator, artist, all-around guru of Horace H. Hoover on Gloomy Wood Comics. Issue 1 to 3 you could get at his site. If Fabrizio, send Marcus.
Highly recommend that. That is such a great
I love that
book.
comic.
Isn't that a great book?
Every time we talk about it, I always joke that it's just like, who's the target audience? John from John's Longbox. It's 20.
It kind of lives in that area between like Hellboy and like John Constantine Hellblazer. You know, it's like it's really nice. Really good book
with like a dash of humor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I like the uniqueness of the look of the character and everything. So it's great stuff.
Fabrizio did a page in my comic.
And, did he really? Oh, nice.
And I said, Horace H. Hoover is in my comic, but he's not in my comic. You'll get it when you get the comic.
Okay.
Maybe help with the marketing. Honestly, so true. Never know when cords will be needed. Don't make fun of my insanity, guys. Comics has immersion. All kidding aside, back in the early 80s, I had stacks and stacks of comics on my dresser.
Okay.
Do you remember Comic Buyer's Guide by Don Thompson?
Yeah.
It was like a newspaper for comics. It came out once a week. I had a script. I had piles and piles of that on my dresser, and my father used them all to start the wood burning stove back in the 80s when gas oil was so expensive that we went back. My father was all mad. He goes, all this progress, and we're going back to wood burning stoves to heat the house. I'm like, thank God he didn't even ask me. He just took them. Thank God he didn't take the comics.
Yeah, right. Thank God he took like that. Yeah.
I was a teenager hoarding newspapers. Oh God. Yeah. So there we go. I just wanted to go through all the chats, and I will. I'll bring up. You have an Indiegogo right now.
I do, yeah, and I am continuing on with the Mighty Mascots, even though I'm not with Alterna anymore.
Right. I'm sorry to say that I kind of lost contact. I have all your Alterna issues. Some of them I have like 4 or 5 copies.
Oh, nice.
What I like about your comic is I'm a big proponent of all ages comics. I think that comic books in general are forgetting about kids.
Right. Oh my God. I have this argument at comic stores all the time. Like I used to drive me nuts that there was like, teen comics, adult comics. It's like, no, it should be just every comic should be all ages. Spider-Man should be all ages. Superman
Right.
should be all ages. Like a parent shouldn't have to go into a comic store and flip through Action Comics to make sure it's appropriate for kids. Should just, they should just know that that's a good all ages comic,
Right.
just like
a Marvel comic, a DC comic should be all ages.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I understand Love and Rockets is for adults, but that's fine
yes.
too. Archie,
right.
Archie should be for younger kids, but
yeah, the fact that they moved away from that is just kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't like, I don't like that they did that. I rather they stay in that all ages realm, and I think that's what would. I don't know if kids would be into it now the way things are,
kids aren't into comics.
Yeah, they're not.
I talk about this all the time. I got 55 nieces and nephews. I'm from a large family, and my large family is making large families, and none of them read comics.
Yep.
I take it back. My oldest nephew reads Walking Dead, and that's it. But other than that, they all read manga, but no superheroes, nothing.
Yeah, and why is that? It's like because it's what is given to them. Like I wish comics. I think the biggest problem with comics, besides the all ages thing, is the distribution of them. They're nowhere. Like whereas the stuff that's big, like Dogman and like those kind of books, it's because the Scholastic stuff, they go to the kids.
Right.
Marvel and DC don't do that. If they did, their readership would
why
be a
doesn't
lot
Marvel?
bigger.
Why don't Marvel and DC make? Like in the same vein as the Batman animated series, which I consider to be
the best
incarnation of Batman, and
best iteration of Batman easily, and better than the comic. Like, let's be real. Like, that
that is such a brilliant idea, and it's so obvious. And why didn't I never thought of it until you just said that. I know I did a video a little while ago called "Is Dogman a Comic Book?" Because I've been seeing all like Rich Johnson and talking about Dogman, and then other people get vehemently upset. So I bought the first Dogman and I read it, and then I did a video on it. It's a comic book. It's not a traditionally distributed comic book, but it's also a children's book. But it's a comic book. It's panels, word balloons. It's sequential art, and kids are reading that. So you're absolutely right. That's such a brilliant idea that now I'm mad that nobody, me and you can think of it. Who are we? We're you guys in the basement talking about breakfast cereal and comic books.
I mean, I think having a comic store is great, but the fact that they don't put comics with at the grocery store anymore, or CVS.
Well, to be fair, when was the last time you saw any periodical or magazine in the grocery store?
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like the whole reading thing's become so passe. No one does it unless it's on a phone.
Everybody that I know, all my friends, but this is what is it? Selection bias, I guess it's called. Are avid readers, and we talk and we read and but the guys I work with, just random people, nobody reads. So I've given up on the idea of seeing comic books in supermarkets and stuff. But
I don't think that would be the way to do it nowadays. I feel like physical media in itself, not even just comics, but DVDs and movies, everything's online and but digital comics don't seem to catch on the same way as physical, which is such an anomaly.
This is a word that I hate. Everybody says gaslight. You ever notice some words go into vogue, like sustainability, words like that everybody, but gaslighting is a big, but I don't believe that digital comics are doing well at all.
They aren't. I mean, if I'm any indication of it, I have my stuff on hey, DC Miller. He's actually doing a backup story in my.
Oh, cool! DC Miller sent me some fan art that.
Yeah, he's great, man.
I intended to put it in this issue, but being my first issue, I kind of didn't know how many pages would go into a comic book. You know what I mean? So I had to cut a couple of fan art pages. Sorry, DC.
maybe the second issue.
Maybe I'll mess up on the other side and need a couple of pages next issue.
Yeah, there you go. Was it where was it going? What were we talking about?
We were talking about gaslighting and digital comics.
Yeah, digital comics. So I have Mighty Mascots on Global Comics, and I also had them on when I was with Alterna. They were on Comixology. The only thing I ever saw happen on that was like Comixology. All their stuff gets hacked and it ends up online for free on pirate sites and stuff. So, I mean, I never saw any kind of huge turnout for digital. There's a tiny bit there. Like even when I do a campaign now, I always put a digital because it's just so easy to fulfill as a creator. And, I get maybe 10 people that will take advantage of digital. I just don't see it as a thing, because I think comic book people they want the book, they want to be able to. Digital just is not the same experience for me.
Right. It's funny because I got the digital files for my comic and I read it and I approved it.
Yeah.
And then the next step was getting the physical proof.
Yeah.
And then I caught a million mistakes. I don't know. I feel like I'm disengaged from anything on digital. Like when it was in my hand, I was reading it. I'm like, okay.
You were looking at it more closely.
This word balloon needs to be moved. This wasn't too clear. But I was reading on, and it's funny.
Part of the thing too, the way we read a comic, like I don't read like panel to panel. Like I open it, I look all over it, and then I start reading it.
Right.
Where digital, you don't really get that experience. It's like panel by panel, and you could do the full page thing, but it's not the same. It just, unless you zoom in real, what I mean? It's just not,
I read my comic digitally, but I just told you how well I did that. I read my friend's comic digitally, and when I got the physical comic and actually read it physically, I didn't remember a damn thing. It was as if I was reading, like it just, I don't know. It just didn't register.
Doesn't connect. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mention this every live stream now, but I'm a construction worker, so I like physical things. I like, and one of the things that we learned is like an efficiency of movement. Like, we're lifting up heavy things and we got a plan. How do I do this so that I'm not holding this pipe for too long? So like, I like this physical plan of action, and so I like physical things. I like a physical comic in my hand. Making the comic, I liked all the physical stuff. I hated the transferring of digital files.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was the worst. And right now I'm fulfilling by myself. My friend was like, "You need help?" I'm like, "No." I'm sitting here putting things in boxes. Yeah. It physical. I like physical stuff. I can't get into a digital comic. And to be fair, I met one of the women who runs Global Comics a couple of weeks ago at Comic-Con. She was really nice, gave me her card, and basically said, when you have like 3 or 4 issues, I'll try it. You know what I mean?
It's free. I mean, overall, it doesn't affect you. It's nice.
Not like I'm taking money out of my pocket to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're gonna make a comic, you might as well put it on there just to have,
we got a bunch of people watching right now. Does anybody read digital comics over physical comics? I'm sure my audience is probably a little skewed.
I read it under protest. Like if it's the only way to read something, I'll read it digital. If I got to read something for our show, or
excuse me,
I don't go out of my way to read digital at all.
No. Matter of fact, like a lot of I back a lot of books, and I'll see a file. Your digital comic is ready. I just delete it. Yeah. I don't even want the digital.
Sometimes I'll download it, but then I'm like thinking, am I becoming a digital hoarder now?
One of the guys who's been on my channel a few times, he's like, "Have you read my book yet? I sent you the." No, I'm waiting for the physical copy. He's like, "The physical copy is not going to be. It's coming from Europe." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll wait. Wait."
I'm the same way. I would rather wait to hold it and read it, and look at it closely.
Right. It's like watching a movie on my phone.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at this! Look at that drama! I could really see the expression on that actress.
Yeah, right. Or if you're watching like a Star Wars or some kind of special effects heavy thing on this tiny screen, it makes zero sense.
Lawrence of Arabia on my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Old man reference. That's DC
great.
Miller. As a miserable Canadian, I should read digital, but I don't. I will say this: I sent. When you're sending out comics, I sent the farthest away was Warsaw, Poland.
Oh, okay.
And it was cheaper than sending a comic to Vancouver, Canada. How effed up is that?
Wild.
That Poland is cheaper than Canada. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's a little crazy. Huh.
Yeah. Oh, I want to say, just some guy did a review of Mighty Mascots like a year ago.
Yeah, did you see that? Wasn't it great?
Yeah.
He doesn't normally review stuff. I reached out to him and I said to him, you know, I don't know if you do reviews, but you know, if you hate it, tear me apart because I love your videos and I could take it. I've
invited him on my channel a few times to no response.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was surprised he did it. Like I didn't hear from him, and all of a sudden the video was up, and I was like, oh wow, you know. And I thought that was really cool of him to do. So yeah, it was a really good, and he was pretty positive about the review. He only had a couple nitpicks, and it was kind of funny with some of the jokes he did about it, and then. Yeah, it was great. I was honored to have him cover that. So
Jay Bott, who has a comic, he's been on my channel a few times. He said there's a craft aspect to physical books. The paper used, the binding, hard, soft cover, all these things add to the craft of making a comic book. All that's missing in digital comics. Yes.
Yeah, big time.
I was resistant to offering a digital tier, but Ashley, who does the comic Argonauts, lives in Ireland, and he was just like, dude, no offense, but I don't want to spend $40 shipping for you know. And I was like,
yeah, no, that's what digital is on campaigns is good for now, is the overseas stuff, because a lot of people don't want to pay the crazy shipping just to get a book.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. So, you know, I put it there for that. And then there is a small group of people that still love to read digital. Not me, but
not me.
You know,
I I can't smell pixels. Yeah, I love the smell of old comics. I dated a woman who owned a comic book store out when I was in college, and I remember she took me to the back room, and I'm like, what what's going on? And she was like, smell that, and it was just comics.
Yeah,
just the whole back room was just unbagged, unboarded.
Yeah.
Old comics,
Me and my friend used to say that smells like childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bookstore called Stan's Books.
Okay.
And it was around I had my comic book store, and then 6 storefronts to the right was Stan's Books. So okay. I saw that bookstore for 20 years, and then finally one day I went into it. Now I'm an adult now. Like I had already moved away and moved back. And I went into Stan's Book, and it was old wizard looking guy, with a long white beard, and he's like looking at me, like so old that he's like doddering, and he's like, yeah, I'm closing up, I'm retiring, and I'm like, oh, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, it's a tiny little bookstore, and he goes, okay, so, and I left. I was like, I bought a little token book, and I told somebody, they go, did you go to the basement? I'm like, no. He goes, it's all comics. So I went back, and it was closed. So it was all old comics. She goes, you never know what you can find there. I was like, oh my God. So that haunts me.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
Yeah. Marcus did a cover for Ashley. Cool. Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah, he showed it. It was like a phantom guy. Yeah. Awesome. And I think Brian Bow is doing a cover for Ashley also. Yeah.
Cool.
Just today. No, yesterday. I'm getting my days mixed up. There's a guy, big muscle-bound guy. He's a principal of a school, and he's into comics, and we talk comics. He told me that his cousin's husband, he goes, this guy's a real, he goes, he's just like a real, you just want to strangle him. He's always like, oh, let's make a buck. Let's make a buck. Let's make a buck. And he goes around, and he goes to auctions, and he wins auctions for people's estates, blind. Nobody knows what's in. Guess what he found?
What?
A long box filled with Fantastic Four #1, Amazing Fantasy 15, Wonder Woman #2, Action Comics 10 or something like that. He said over $1 million worth of comics, and he goes, and the guy's like, yeah, I'll just sell them. Yeah, I'm just gonna, he's not into comics at all. It's just
right.
It's as if he found widgets or something like that he could sell.
Right.
and then we
Wow.
both seethed the whole ride home.
Oh my God! And how much did he get the box for? Or did
he doesn't know because
Oh.
he says he's not too friendly with the guy, But
God, can you imagine? Oh my God!
I mean, I had some good luck finding some comics, but never Amazing Fantasy 15. So
Right?
I'm bring up your campaign now because
okay.
I've been talking about my nonsense for too long.
I like your nonsense, Joe. Good.
So tell us about Mighty Mascots. I enjoyed this comic. Like I said, I feel bad because I kind of lost track of it, but that's what this is all about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and that's why we do these, right? So we can try to reconnect with the people who picked up the early issues and everything. But yeah, basically Mighty Mascots is when I pitch it, it's about a group of serial mascots that brought to life by a 3D printing accident, and they become a superhero team. It's my love letter to Saturday morning cartoons and comics that I grew up with in the 80s and 70s and stuff. So I'm like you, where I love the all ages books, and I'm a kid of the 80s, so I have like a lot of love for old cartoons and back when cartoons were so good, Thunder the Barbarian, all that, Hanna-Barbera's World of Super Adventure, all that stuff that I didn't know at the time was, made by comic people like Alex Toth and Jack Kirby. And
you're sitting on the floor with a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Dude, when you talk about those childhood smells, Lucky Charms and, and then just sitting there for 6 hours watching cartoons, it's my heaven. That's what I hope, that's what I hope heaven is,
My mom used to not joke, but she was like annoyed that I couldn't wake up for school. Like I still my natural wake up time is like 11 o'clock,
Okay.
So if I'm not working, I'm waking up at like 11 o'clock, but I'll stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning easily.
Yeah.
But Saturday mornings, boom, I jumped out of bed like I was spring launched.
Yeah, me too. I'd even watch the drawing guy in the morning. There was like a guy, it wasn't Bob Ross, but it was somebody, I forget the guy's name, but like he would have a drawing show at like 6 a.m. And then there would be like remember the Barbara Papas?
I was just about to say,
you remember that? Yeah.
In the morning, there's weird. It was a weird French cartoon that was translated.
Yeah, that's the one. Barbara, it was like this family of blobs, and I would
tell right people about it, and nobody believed me. They thought I was making it up. There was
I know exactly.
Barbara Mama, Barbara Baby, Barbara Bo. Yeah, the hippie beatnik one that was hairy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the story of Barbara Papa.
Yeah. I remember that so well.
Somebody else on the planet knows that. I've been talking about that for no joke 30 years. Nobody knows.
No one knows.
Somebody shares my delusion.
Dude, I'm telling you, I don't remember much, but I remember that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I went on YouTube and I was showing people, and they're like, "Nope, never seen it."
Yeah. No, I remember that well. I remember I watched so many of them that you started seeing repeats of it, like it was just on. Yeah, it was a good one. And then, of course, you had the real Ghostbusters, all that stuff. And yeah, I just love that time period of my life. Yeah. And that's what informs this comic. It's my love letter to that period, me trying to recreate that fun cartoon, but also like that Spider-Man and his amazing friends kind of feel to it, things like that. So that's why I love making this comic, even though I'm not, with Alterna anymore. I'll just keep making it because it's stuff that I love and I like to write, so.
So do you draw? I forget.
No, I do draw, but my art is very cartoony. It's very like comic. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a comic strip artist.
Oh, me too. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a comic book artist. Yeah, and I can't.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I did discover comics, and oddly enough, until I was in junior high.
Really?
But before that, I was a comic strip guy. I would get the Garfield books. I would get the Far Side books, and Calvin and Hobbes and all that. And that's what I wanted to do. And I could draw that style. Like my art kind of looks like Jim Davis a little bit. But I could never make the switch from that to like a superhero style. I bet if I stuck with it and kept learning the basics, I probably could. Like I actually even went to, I actually had it. I went to Joe Kubert's school for a year. Wow. Yeah. So like and I learned when I was there, I learned that I'm a better writer than I am an artist. Basically, I was surrounded by so many great artists in my class that I was like, I am not on this level as these guys, and I think that's important too, if you're an artist, to be able to know where your boundaries are,
know like your talents are.
Exactly.
Started out as a comic book artist, and I think he published exactly one comic that he drew, and didn't stop him from working in comics.
Oh yeah. Well, and the added benefit of the art training there, and being a cartoonist and stuff, carries over, because I do a lot of lettering, not just for my book, but I do it for other comics.
Oh, okay.
And just being able to take lettering and with like 3D design and 2D design to try to find the best place to lay out lettering and sound effects and all that. That's where all that training kind of helps, I find.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm still artistic in that way, I guess, besides the writing.
When I was a kid, I used to leave my school, and on the way home, I would pass the public library, and we used to spend hours in the public library. Like Johnny Hart, he did the BC Wizard of Id and all that stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
I loved all that stuff. And then I remember in third grade, I started drawing my own comic strip. It was called Sizzle. And it was
nice.
It was snakes, but for some reason the snakes had arms. I don't know why I didn't turn them into lizards, but
that's funny. Good. I like it.
Yeah, and I
there
remember
was a snake in my comic too. I had a comic strip called Swamp Tales, and it was
they all had
like
turtleneck sweaters and arms, but there was
it's great. That's like the Hanna-Barbera style with the neckties,
Well, yeah, they did that so they would have a line to move the head but keep the body. It was like a cheat.
Yeah, right. It was like to zero in on that, what they called limited animation, where they could just move a mouth or an eye.
But I remember that one of the nuns confiscated all my comic strips, and then like out of spite, I never drew again. I never drew comics. That's how spiteful I am.
I went to Catholic school growing up too. The only memory I have is the nuns taking away my my wacky packages cards. You remember those? The wacky packages? I was so mad at the nun when she took it away. I just wanted to like wait till her back was turned and go rip them out of her desk. But she gave them to me months later, and I almost immediately got them taken away again because I started looking through them. She gave them back to me, and I started going through them again. Like, it's just like, it was funny. But that's my only memory of going to school then, so very funny.
What you said was about comic shops, like, and I talk about this a lot, like the only people who go into comic shops are people who are already into comic books.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like yep. I'm not going to go into a clarinet store unless I'm already interested in clarinet. Like nobody just wakes up, today I'm going to be into the clarinet. I'm going to go to what I mean? Like it's same with comic books, and what you said about Scholastic, like Mighty Mascots would be perfect, like an all ages Spider-Man. So this is not to sound mean, but I gave a copy of Mighty Mascots to one of my friend's little girls.
Oh,
they
awesome.
Came over to visit.
No, I loved it.
And she looked at it and it was like, what is this? She never saw a comic book. She didn't know what a comic book was. She didn't know how to read it. It's nothing about your comic. I'm just saying,
right.
That's how detached kids are from comics.
Oh yeah. Like you think about it, like when you hand a comic to a kid, it's like this archaic, they know video games. Like they know their phone. Yeah. They know how to scroll on a phone. Like you give them it's like a pamphlet, and it's like, what don't like they don't get it. Like, so yeah, no, it's so archaic to kids, But the sad thing is, like, I mean, when we all get older, it's like, who's gonna pick up this hobby? And it's just like it's gonna have to make a change. It's probably honestly gonna get smaller,
Yes.
Until it's like a very niche thing.
We're spiraling,
Yeah, it's sad. sad, you know.
I
Go ahead,
remember when I was reading that Comic Buyer's Guide, that Don and Maggie Thompson newspaper, they were saying the average age of comic book fans. This was like the early 90s, late 80s.
Okay.
Back then, the average age of a comic book reader was like 19 to 20. And then I remember in the 90s, the average age of a comic book fan was like 26. And I just remembered I was always the average age of a comic book fan. So I wonder right now the average comic book reader is 56 years old.
That's crazy.
And
it's true though. Like I work at a shop part-time and yeah, you're right. And no one goes in there to to discover something. It's all the guys that have been getting books from the beginning. And I hate the cover thing that they do now. Like, DC Dynamite's the worst, but DC, like, they sell like the main cover. It's like $4.99 for like a Batman. And then every variant cover after that's like $5.99. So it's like they're giving you the same comic, but you're paying an extra $1 to get like, a certain artist or whatever you want. But it's like
we poop on that, and I don't like it either. But if they didn't do that,
it would be worse. The sales would be worse. Yeah. Because all the fans at the store I work at, they do buy 2-3 covers, and it's like I was never that way. I only want one cover. I don't care which one. Just give it to me.
Oh, unrelated. Buy the Heroic Tales with the father cover and the Renzo cover.
Well, even with my campaign, I did do 2 covers 3 covers. I got the main and the B and the C cover, just because like people do want the variants. So
the Michael T. Gilbert cover.
There you go. It is part of the art. It's part of the the way things are bought now. So you got to do it.
So I got it. Are you a fan of breakfast cereal then? And what is your favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh God, yeah. Have you ever had Quisp?
No.
They still make it. You'd have to get it on Amazon, and it's really expensive for some reason. Like a
breakfast cereal
small box is like $10, but it's worth it. It's like the best cereal of all time. It's so sweet. It's like Captain Crunch, but sweeter.
Oh, I don't know. I can't handle sweet anymore.
No.
Like, when we get dessert, we'll get the 2 desserts, and I look, and my wife will take a taste. Okay. If I have too much sugar, it's like, it's I'm not diabetic. I'm the opposite. Low sugar. So I don't know if too much sugar freaks me out.
Affects you in a weird way, then, huh?
I love Captain Crunch. I love the Crunch Berries. But my favorite breakfast cereal of all time, I'm a boring person, Cheerios.
I like Cheerios.
I love Cheerios. I think it's a comfort thing. Like every once in a while, I'll tell my wife I'm craving something. And it took a couple of years for her to understand, like I was craving spaghetti meatballs the way my mom made. So she made spaghetti meatballs. I'm like, no, that's the way you make it. So she was like, but I made spaghetti. No, I would make it. You know what I mean? Okay. But
the way you remember liking it.
Like this comfort foods like Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Yep.
Cheerios, Top Ramen. That's a comfort food. And,
Yeah, like I get a craving for ramen every once in a blue moon, and we go buy like a 6-pack, me and my wife. Nice. Yeah, I agree with you, Torchbearer. Quisp is great. And I remember one year I went nuts and I bought like 10 boxes on Amazon, and we started to give them away because it was almost too much Quisp. And I gave them to my sister-in-law. The whole family went through the whole box, and then they were like, "Hey, you guys got any more?" Like they just wanted more because it was so sweet, and it's one of the best cereals.
You're tempting me, and it's funny. I've been out of work for a couple of months due to my neck injury, and one of the guys at work was like, "Yeah, so what were you doing when you were at home? Were you eating SpaghettiOs?" Which I thought was a weird thing to say. And I'm like, no, but now I want spaghetti. I haven't.
Yeah, right.
When was the last time you had Chef Boyardee?
There's something about that crappy pasta, right? Like,
get it now before Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh my God! Yeah,
we'll be able to eat his raw vegetables.
It's coming.
Freaky's cereal had the best price. Freaky's.
I remember Freaky's. I never tried it, but I
Freaky's.
remember it, and I wish I could. I wish I could go back in time and try that cereal.
Oh my God!
Do you remember it, Freaky's?
I think a memory is being unlocked. Did they have like a rubberized like toy? It was like a mix between a superhero and a wrestler in the package. Oh my God! This is like a memory I never would have thought of ever again. If you didn't bring this up, Torchbearer, I got to look this up. Waffle-O's.
I remember that one too.
My wife is Canadian, and they have different food in Canada. Like you cross this imaginary line, and there's like I still laugh at this that they call Kraft macaroni and cheese they call it Kraft dinner. Kraft dinner. It's not dinner, it's a side,
Yeah, right. Do you remember Dinky Donuts? I think it was called. That was a good one. Like you're basically eating donut. Like it was like kind of like Cookie Crisp, where it's like
Cookie Crisp. Yeah, cookie. Yeah. Somehow they convinced mothers to serve their kids cookies for breakfast.
Right. I know. If you think about like how crazy it was in the 80s.
Rachel's in Vancouver. Yeah. Sorry to dox you. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I don't know if I did the wrong thing, but
yeah, the Torchbearer is right. That's what Freaky's was. It had these little monsters.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Torchbearer works with toys, so he knows his toys. He knows his toys. Sear of all that is obvious. A new name. Quisp was good. Quake was not. Where are all these cereals coming from?
Yeah,
and what's funny is my
friend came
Jimmy's
from like
was obsessed with like healthy breakfast. So like you went to his house and it was all the stuff on the bottom shelf that was in a bag. It didn't even come in a box. One of them was Uncle Ben's with the natural laxative. And we used to, hey, Jimmy, did you poop today? And he's like, shut up, man. He said when he got his first job, me and him met working in a supermarket, that he bought like Captain Crunch and hid it in his room.
That's great. Did he have one of those parents that wouldn't let him eat sugary cereal?
Well, you gave Jimmy sugary food. He was out of his mind, so I don't blame him.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I'm tying this into the Mighty Mascots. So the Mighty Mascots are all breakfast cereal mascots.
Correct. And
so who are the characters? And then I'll play your trailer.
Yeah, if you scroll down a little further, it has the bowl call, like almost the Avengers roll call.
Oh, there we go.
They call it the bowl call. These are all the characters of the Mighty Mascots. The only one that isn't a cereal mascot is Brewster McPunch, which is on the top right. He's a nod to the Kool-Aid Man, and just like every superhero team needs the comic relief. Brewster kind of fills that niche for this team, and then every one of them is inspired by like a real cereal mascot. Are
we allowed to draw the conclusions, or do you?
Yeah, for it. I'll see how close you are. One of them's actually Quisp.
Okay, so Captain Horatio Funny Flakes is Captain Crunch.
Yeah, of course.
The Sugar Bear for Boxer Bear. Mondo Martian. I don't know
that one is Quisp. Quisp.
Okay. No wonder I don't.
Quisp mascot was this weird alien, and I was like, I wanted to pay homage to it.
You know what? He looked like one of those like DC like fifth dimensional imps that would plague the heroes back.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he might have been designed by the same guy that did Captain Crunch, but I'm not sure. I think it could be, but
so the Brewster McPunch is cool. C-Rat is Toucan Sam.
Yeah.
Whack and Smack. I don't know who that is.
So if you read them in the row, their names are more an homage to cereal mascots than they are. It's Whack, Smack, and Boom.
Snap, Crackle, Pop. Duh.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize Boom was one of them. I
and
also
so
love Rice Krispies. Frosted Krispies.
Rice Krispies was great. The cool thing too about the robots is they combine into a bigger robot named Mega Crunch, and it's sort of like an homage to giant robot stuff like Voltron and Shogun Warriors and Force 5 when we were kids, Cocoa Puffs is great.
Metal mixing bowl. You're right. There was something about a metal bowl that made the cereal Tastes better.
Yeah, better. Yeah, I agree with that.
My mom had these wooden bowls, and I don't know what it was, but
did not
I'm
hit the
convinced that they
same.
altered the flavor of the milk.
Yeah, the metal. Something about the metal was good. And then, of course, the human character is a nod to Gary Coleman. I wanted like the human character to be a former child star grown up to become a scientist. So I thought Gary Coleman hit that bill, since I thought he was one of the greatest child actors of all time.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he's an homage to. And so the team dynamic was very much like stuff like, an odd, like Doom Patrol or like Metal Men. I wanted like a team like that where it's just an offbeat mixing of characters. And that's what Mighty Mascots is kind of homaging as well.
I like this design.
Yeah, so this issue is like, since it's my 10th issue, I decided to make it like an anniversary size, with backup stories and, just more pages. And in this one, the robot Boom has his personality matrix altered and he becomes evil. So it's like the typical when the Avengers have that infight, with each other. And that's what this issue is.
So what is the Boom is a scratch to show that he's like evil?
Yeah, I had him colored like more like villain colors with like purple and green and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like.
And they have the beast scratched out, like he's just kind of not going. He's trying to get away from his old personality.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, this looks great. This looks great.
Thanks, man.
And this is one
that's DC Miller's artwork right there. He's
right here.
Yeah, he's doing a backup story with me, where we're bringing our twisted version of the Pillsbury Doughboy into a storyline, and his story is 15 pages, and it's just the Mighty Mascots fighting Pillsbury Doughboy.
DC Miller sent me a fan drawing of the Patriarch, and then I'm working on another comic that's besides Heroic Tales, and it's it's a mix between like Love and Rockets and Crisis on Infinite Earths is the only way.
Oh, okay, cool. I like that.
So like they're reading Silver and Golden Age comics in the comic, so we made Silver and Golden Age comics, and then he sent me some fan art of some of the characters that we made up.
Oh, nice. That's cool. I
So
like that.
I saw this and I'm like, if this comic does well that we're doing, the follow-up is going to be the secret origins of all those characters that we made up for that. And I want to do like 8-page homages to like Golden and Silver. DC Miller, I think, would be perfect for one of them. So
oh my god, isn't his style great? It's very animation. You can tell he's backgrounds in animation.
Yeah, this looks great. This looks
so
good.
good.
Oh, wow, look at this panel. I like this.
Yeah, now this is another backup story by they're called the Ogle Brothers, and it's the first time I'm letting anybody write and draw Mighty Mascots besides myself. So they're gonna do a backup story, and so this issue is gonna be. I
can see letting other people draw, but you're letting somebody else write your characters. That's rough.
Yeah, I like their work so much. They're creators from my neck of the woods up here in Massachusetts, and I've read some of their stuff and I really like it. I was like, I think these guys could nail Mighty Mascots. So I'm gonna let them go with it and see what happens. And and if it's bad, it's a backup story. But I don't think it will be. I think those guys are great.
Is it who drew this?
One of my variant covers. Now this is an artist by the name of Gazbot, and he is a guy I went to Kubert school with. So he was one of the friends I made there that I kept in touch with. But great artist, awesome. Unbelievable artist.
Yeah,
isn't that cover great? The colors, all the detail.
This almost looks like I know like the Mighty Mascots is more like cartoony, but like with a little bit of tweaking, this could almost be like a horror comic.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, like he does a fine line between like a cartoony and horror. But I mean, that is really good. I like that. not final artwork. Oh, okay. So this is
this is the second cover. This is I work with these guys at the comic store. They actually do covers for. I don't know if you ever seen this. Like, if you do you know how like so an Image book comes out, like a new #1, your local comic store can request to have like what they call like a shop variant.
Yeah.
Where they partner with an artist and they make their own cover for a comic.
Midtown Comics in New York does that a lot.
Okay.
And it confused me for a long time.
Me too. Until I started talking to these guys, because these guys do a lot of those type of covers. They've done covers for Archie books, for Image books. They've worked for every company, IDW, doing these covers. But they're all partnered with a store or an online business or something like that. And so it was an honor to get these guys to do a cover for me. And
what store do you work in if you don't?
The store is called Geek Boutique.
Oh, that's a good name.
Yeah, isn't it? It's up in here in Massachusetts. The owner has 2 stores. Great guy, love working for him. You know, one of the good dudes in the industry, you know, good comic retailer. I know those are few and far between, you know, but yeah, he's really nice guy.
I find most of the owners of the comic book stores are good, you know, boots on the ground, regular, you know.
Yeah, I think we've weeded out all the ones that
and I don't want to get into how the publishers treated them when they complained a couple of years ago, you know.
Yeah.
But like,
I think like a lot of the negative guys have kind of gone out of business now. You know, the guy like the Simpsons comic book store guys, you know.
Yeah, I remember the comic book store that I worked in, their very first employee, not the owner. The owner was a nice guy, but his very first employee, he was like nastier than the comic book guy, you know. And I was
really
like,
okay.
And then I took his job, so he left. He actually went to become a lawyer, and I took his job, and I worked there. And I always told myself I was never going to be condescending and nasty to the customers, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'd like to think that I succeeded, but
I think I find most of the customers that come in even my store, I like, you know, they're great guys and we have a lot in common, you know, and we just talk shop. And they're the type that don't stay, you know, forever. Like I used to work.
They come in, they get what they want, they chit chat for a couple minutes.
They chit chat for 10 minutes and they're gone, you know, like
and they dropped $120.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Yeah, those are the best customers, you know, the whales, you know. I was, and when I stopped working, you know, when I got my real full-time job, I would every Wednesday, you know, I would come in and I loved it. But I mean, I would stay a while because I worked in the store and I knew all the customers. And then Wednesday was almost like a club.
Oh yeah,
you know, like, hey, you know, and then like, you know, like Monday, Tuesday, that was when like the store actually got to do stuff because
right.
Customers, you know?
Wednesday, forget it. You couldn't get anything done.
We would actually lock the door a little bit while we were opening.
Oh yeah, yep, you have to. What was I going to say? I used to love those. Fun. Yeah, when you had a group of guys in there just talking for 2 hours about whatever, and it was like everybody had an opinion, you know, or it was like, who's gonna win in a fight, Hulk or Superman? You know, it was like that kind of talk. You know?
I was mentioned before on Friday nights I do a show called It's Clobbering Time, and to me, it's because the comic book stores are dying out. Like it's me and you talk about who's gonna win in a fight, Captain Crunch or the Kool-Aid Man, and then you make your case, I make my case. You know, we get hot and bothered, but it's all a good fun and play. So far, nobody took it seriously enough to get mad.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Like we did like Batman versus Spider-Man, or you know, the original one was the Hulk versus the Flash because the guy at work kept, you know. But this Friday was going to be Hellboy versus Etrigan the Demon, but I can't do it this Friday. I got to finish fulfilling these comics. So
that's a good fight, actually.
I
like to see the arguments on that.
And it's funny because people like will pop in. You know, it's an open invite show, so if you ever want to come in and argue comics, you know.
Okay, you guys do that on Friday nights.
Friday nights, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time on this channel.
If I'm on YouTube, I'll definitely pop in the chat and see what's going on there. I
got to ask you: is this a 3D thing or is this actual action figures?
Yeah, so this is I've been working on this for a couple of years, trying to bring this to life. But they're actually 3D printed mascots. Like to tie into their origin. And we were started off. So when I started envisioning the figures originally, I wanted to do you remember Muscles?
Yeah, Estrogen the Demon. Did I misspeak?
I knew what you
meant.
meant.
Form of man, take the form of woman. If I misspoke, it was a pretty funny misspoke.
Oh, that's great.
Kool-Aid Man is a powerhouse. Yeah, I think Kool-Aid Man would give the Juggernaut a run for his money. Yeah,
I think so. But do you remember the muscle figures? They were like these little pink wrestlers. That's what I wanted to make originally with these figures. But I kept hitting roadblocks whenever someone would print them. They wouldn't come out right. They would break. There was something about the size of those.
Were they?
We weren't doing them in the right material. I don't think so.
Yeah,
but
I'm 3D printed like a resin figure of my character, but I don't know if I could ship it to anybody because resin is really fried. So maybe I'll just sell the file.
You have to maybe do it at a convention or find some
once
way.
I put it in your hand, it's yours now.
You just walk away. Yeah, exactly. But
perfect for the estrogen.
Estrogen, yeah. That's great. But as soon as I started looking at these figures in more of a bigger scale, it started clicking, and so this is what we got. So I asked people online, what the line should be called, and I loved Breakfast Brawlers. Someone,
that's good.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I had pretty much all the mascots made up, and so the cool thing about the campaign is you can get each set for $20. Comes with a couple trading cards and a temporary tattoo. If you buy all 4 sets of 2, you get a special glow-in-the-dark Mondo figure, which If you scroll down, you get to see that as well. But these are all the sets of figures. So that's like it kind of tied in when I was going to make the new issue. So I'm like, why don't I just put all of this together on a campaign and see where it goes?
Do you ever think of like making your own cereal?
I've thought of that. I have my own cereal box, but I don't. Every time, the one thing that's holding me back is like expiration dates and things like that. Like, if someone gets sick, like it would probably be, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want RFK coming after me.
Well, it's a cereal box that is filled with carrot shavings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is great. These look great.
No, thank you.
So this is all. Let me scroll back up. I gotta click over here. So this is. Where am I now? Okay. This. Oh, you got 1 week left. Oh, I thought you had more time.
Now, it's the end of the first 30, so I'll probably extend it another 30. So if you guys don't have the means to back now, it'll probably go another 30, and then as long as we hit the goal, I'll do in demand. So I'll leave it open as why we're making the book.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Levi. Yeah, Levi.
Which book did you letter for Levi?
It was called Galaxy Memorial Park.
Oh, cool.
It's a book they're working on to get with J.D. Gunter. And it's look for that one when it comes out. It's really cool. It's it reminds me a lot of Astro City.
Oh, I love Astro City.
Yeah, me too. It's one of the best books.
Astro City is a big influence on my comic.
Oh, is it really? I love it.
When I write a script, I'm like, did I subconsciously rip off Kurt Bias? You know what I mean? Like,
I love that.
Because
I'll have to check it out. Is your book still in demand, John?
Yeah, it's in demand on Fund My Comic right now.
On Fund My Comic right
now. Yeah.
All right. I'll have to.
But like
next time I get paid, I'll
have like
jump
a different.
in there.
I'm sorry, I was talking over you. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say each issue of my comic was gonna feature a different superhero, like Astro City.
Like
and then
Astro City.
some people started being like, but I like the Patriarch. And I'm like, I'm doing your boy Zach problem.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? The book is good. It's all centered around a superhero graveyard, basically, and it's like all the heroes, how they kind of relate to each other, and there's like all these like emotional stories and things like that. And it's cool. It's different, you know. So I was really happy to help them bring that to life. I think they're gonna try to. Levi can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're gonna try to get that out for Memorial Day, I believe. Like, you know, do a campaign and things like that. So
I see.
But yeah, look for that one. It's good.
The $50 catch-up bundle, because I know for myself, comic book people, we're compulsive. You know, we want every issue. So if I was to back the $50 bundle, what would I get?
So if you back that, the catch-up bundle, you get everything. You get issues 1 through 10. Yeah, I should throw that in there, you know. Yeah, it's every issue of the Mighty Mascots up to 10 and up to the newest one that I'm funding, basically.
Now, I got to ask, is it like the early Alterna ones, or did you republish those on your own?
I republished on my own, and that's the version you'll be getting.
Okay, so if I back this 50, that's 1 to 10, you said?
Yes.
Okay, and then your Breakfast Club. Obviously, that's a great name for getting all your toys. That is awesome.
Now that gets you everything. That gets you all the toys and the free Mondo figure, plus you get the comic. And I think that's everything that's in that one.
Oh, cool. Can I play the trailer?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that'd be great. It's like 1:30, I think.
Okay. I will make this big, and then I will play the trailer. And we will wait for 20 minutes while it loads.
You got that problem too, huh?
An error occurred. Okay, let's.
Oh no! What is that?
I don't know.
Hopefully that's not on my end. I hope.
Well, let's take this down, and I'll see what's happening. I'll play with it. All right. I don't know. It might be my end because there's supposed to be a big storm, but then again, I would be robotic. This just Kurt Busiek is about to start resisting again. He was done resisting for a couple of years. I think but I wouldn't know. I went to go invite him on my channel. I'm a big fan. I love his comics, and I'm blocked on Twitter. Never interacted with the guy, so I don't know. But it really hurt my feelings because it. Astro City is no joke one of my favorite comics. Just because the guy's kind of a hokey guy, I recommend this comic wholeheartedly. You know, it is.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I'm not the type. I try to separate the art from the artist. I try all the time because I figured like if you don't do that, you're gonna hate everything. Because like, especially Hollywood movies, you imagine how despicable all those actors and stuff are behind closed doors, and right. You would hate everybody. But
even your favorite comic book people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
Like I said, if you met me in my 20s, you'd be like, I don't want to deal with this asshole. All right, I hit refresh and now it's loaded. So we'll add this to the stage. We'll play it. So I guess it was just, I don't know, YouTube bug.
Previously on the Mighty Mascots.
The fearless robot Boom found himself in dire straits after a bullet struck him during a fierce battle with Lana Lennon in issue 6. The impact compromised his targeting system, throwing his precision and control into disarray. Suddenly, a new threat emerged. With no time to waste, Boom makes the decision to have the bullet removed and take his chances with the glitch in his personality matrix. Boom's transformation has set the stage for an epic new chapter, and the story continues in Mighty Mascots issue 10. Issue 10 is a triple-sized anniversary extravaganza, featuring all new content by the same great creative team you know and love. Dive into a thrilling new story and enjoy 2 exciting backup tales by DC Miller and the Ogle brothers. Choose from 2 stunning alternate covers that capture the essence of this landmark issue, with artwork by Gazbot and Angry Dad Comics. Plus, we've got incredible new perks, including exclusive 3D printed Breakfast Brawler figures. There are 8 figures available in 4 sets. Buy them all to receive a bonus glow in the Dark Mondo figure. And that's not all. Catch up on back issues, grab limited collectibles, and immerse yourself in the Mighty Mascots universe like never before. Support the Mighty Mascots issue 10 on Indiegogo and be a part of this groundbreaking journey.
Cool. How do I end this? Okay.
Yeah, my wife put that video together. She's really a good wizard with editing tools and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Better than I am.
I had to hire somebody to do mine. I am not computer literate. Like I literally, when the first time somebody sent me a file, I had to go to Dropbox and I was like, honey, how do you do this? You know, I mean, now I think I'm getting myself pretty organized, but oh my God, I had just bright-eyed, bushy-tailed when I started making a comic book. I feel like Gandalf the White now. I died and come back, you know, and more powerful than ever.
Right? Isn't it making comics do that too?
No.
People think it's so easy. People think making comics is so easy, and
it was fun.
One of the hardest things to do.
It was fun. It was expensive, and I would do it again. But issue 2, I mean, you're up to 10 issues. You're an expert at this now. Issue, it's going to seem like losing your virginity. The first time you did it was awful and awkward, but the second time was awesome. So that's
right.
Marcus, I could probably count. It's funny because just assume I hate an actor unless I say, oh, that's one of the few actors that I like. You know?
Yeah, right.
My wife is making faces at me right now. Yeah,
I gotta agree with
right. I understand that
people
disagree with me. You know, I disagree with myself half the time.
I disagree with you.
My wife disagrees with me, but she married me, so legally you have to stay here. But it doesn't bother me as long as you're not a jerk about it, you know.
Well, same. Like, I mean, I love a lot of comics that are by people that would hate hate my views or hate me,
right.
You know. So, I mean, I try to I'm the kind of person I put out, you give me respect, I give you respect back.
Absolutely.
You know, and like,
hey,
I'm not that into politics either that I can't like talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Like even on our show that I do with my buddy Johnny and Harry on Indie Comics Relay, we try to keep political talk out of it, but like we just try to keep it about comics. But I've had so many different and interesting guests on over the years, and I don't care what walk of life they're coming from, so
I try. I fumbled. On Twitter, I said a couple of things I shouldn't say, because I'm trying to keep.
Sometimes you get caught in the moment. I'm
a fallible human too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm weak. You ever see A Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, me too. I'm weak. I try to do good things, but I'm too weak.
That's great.
Apropos of nothing, is I took an acting class, and that was the scene that I did for my final.
Oh, really? That's
my
great.
teacher was just looking at me like,
I hope you have that on video somewhere. I'd love to see that.
My teacher was just like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like.
Well, I guess at least you didn't do the scene with him and giving the ticket to the two women,
or the scene of him smoking. Yeah. He's like, he goes, "You doing Harvey?" That's what he said. He goes, "At least you had your clothes on doing Harvey."
Yeah, right. That's great. Oh, so funny.
Yeah. So, it's funny because I've been toning down the shows because I'm trying to fulfill my comic, but it's like every time I have a guest on, I'm like, I'm buying that comic. So on Wednesdays I listen to Chuck Dixon.
Yeah,
he always does a Chuck, and I call that the $20 show because that show he always recommends something that's like I'm not $20.
Hey, if you're gonna take recommendations from anybody, you might as well take it from a comic legend,
And then I have people on my channel. I'm like, after talking about it for now, I'm like, I guess I'm back in it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you would like it because you do.
Well, I already read the Inferno ones and I enjoyed them, and like I said,
feel like it's better too. With you probably read 1, 2, and 3, probably because I know those definitely got distributed, and then 4, 5, and 6 only got distributed on crowdfunding.
Oh, so I must have missed that because I
that was when I was still with Alterna when 4, 5, and 6 came out.
Oh, so maybe I have 4, 5, and 6.
You might have 4, 5, and 6. That was the one with the video game villains.
Yeah.
And then 7, 8, and 9, I did myself. You fulfilled through my.
Yeah, like I said, Alterna had some good. Like they had Baron Rat, they had Psycho KO.
Oh, for a while they were the best small publisher,
Yeah.
easily.
And they had, they had a Midnight Mystery was a comic that I really.
Oh, that was a great one. Yeah, that was a great one. Yeah, there was so many good titles that went through Alterna, and then you know what? Yes, it's kind of gone sideways since then. I don't want to get into that too much, but for a while, Alterna was the publisher.
No joke, it was my favorite. It is what I look forward to the most. Like I'll never forget.
Too.
I'll never forget when I got T-Bird and Throttle. I was
great comic,
and
blew
I
me
got
away.
my Alterna bundle, and that was right on top. And I didn't realize it, but I got Josh Howard comics. I got Black Harvest before, but I get so many comics sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
And
I
he
did Dead at 17 too.
Yeah, but I missed Dead at 17. I heard it, but I just totally missed it. But I got Black Harvest, and I really enjoyed it. And then T-Bird and Throttle, and I'm like, what else did he do? Oh my God. And then I went and I messaged Josh Howard. I commissioned art from him, which I never did before. I love that book so much.
I love his style is very much Batman, Bruce Timm animated style. Like it looks like that cartoon, and I love that about his artwork. And it's a great book. The first series he did, the first 4-issue run of the T-Bird and Throttle was so good. And then I bought his he did a crowdfunder for a sequel.
Right.
And I bought that. That was pretty good. I don't know if he's done another one since.
No, he has as far as I know, he has a T-Bird and Throttle, the first one, which was like the redemption arc, which I'm a sucker for a redemption arc.
Oh, it was a great story.
It was so good. And then he did the what was it, the Moon Men?
Versus the 8 Men or something.
Yeah. And then he has another one that's I forget, but it's gonna be like another like 50s monster trope. That's what he loves. And
cool.
now he redid Dead at 17, like a revisit, and now he's doing a Black Harvest revisit, which I can't wait. I love that story.
I've never read that one. I'll have to check that one out.
I commissioned him. He's doing we were talking about variant covers for issue 2 of Heroic Tales. Renzo, the great artist that he is, he's doing the regular cover, and it's going to be a flip book. So there's going to be 2 covers.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I like that.
Because I'm gonna have 2 characters. Because I still want to do like Astro City, have like a different superhero, but I'm gonna have the patriarch every issue. Then you flip it over, and it's gonna have a rotating backup character. So he's doing 2 covers. Yeah. But the other one, I have Jose Garcia doing a cover, and then flip it over. It's Josh Howard doing a.
I love that.
He already sent me the cover. It looks awesome.
You should do like a mini print of that as well, like because Josh's artwork is so good.
Like, yeah. So I remember opening up that. So I just opened up T-Bird and Throttle, and I just read the whole thing. It was like a 70-page book. It was awesome. And then right underneath it was Wolf and Batsy, and I just backed everything. And I didn't know anything about Wolf and Batsy. I didn't know who Brian is.
Brian is such a talent too.
And I'm like, what is this? And I think I immediately did a video on Wolf and Batsy, and then Brian reached out to me, and we've been talking ever since.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Brian's a great guy, and like, Wolf and Batsy's a great book.
Yeah, Brian does a page in my comic, and then Horace H. Hoover was also in that bundle.
Oh, I mean, just like the talent that came out of Alterna. Clint's book was great. Did you read Downcast?
Yeah, I read everything. I went and I got like older stuff, like Croak.
Right. Yeah.
I got. Yep. I'm a completionist, so we talked about I'm a hoarder. So I got everything by Alterna.
I'm trying to think what other you mentioned. Midnight Mystery, that was a great one. There was so many. Like I'm almost blanking. Blood Realm was good, of course.
Talk to Rob.
I liked Unit 44. Did you read that one?
To show up at his house.
Yeah, he lives in New York, right?
Yeah,
I used to see him at New York Comic Con all the time.
I enjoy talking with him. He's
a great guy. Yeah, like I don't think he actually does New York Comic Con or Comic Cons anymore, but Yeah, I miss my chats with him, being in the back rooms of those YouTube channels and
he
things
teaches
like that.
college art history. I mean, he's so and he loved. And I'm a history guy too. Like, we were talking for a while, and I was like, "Dude, I have a degree in Roman history," and he's like, "Really?" And then we geeked out about that.
Well, that's what Bug Realm is. It's like just mythology and history, and him through his lens. It's just great.
And Unit 44,
great one, great fun book.
Yeah, I love that particular issue with the when they accidentally join a cult. That was fun.
Yes, that was great. Amy's Birdhouse is actually my wife, Amy, who's commenting too.
Amy, you've been. Yeah. Amy, I recognize the name. Have you been in my chats before? Or maybe I seen you on Twitter. Amy's Birdhouse.
Possibly.
So
have you ever?
I've been babbling way too much. So go ahead. Anything you want to say?
You might have seen her. She moderates my chat over on our channel, which is Indie Comics Relay. I don't know if you've ever found your way over to that one at all. But we talk, with indie guests from everywhere. Whoever reaches out, basically, we'll have on the show as long as we can.
Invite me.
Yeah, if you want to come. Yeah, let's plan something, John.
Anybody want to talk about comic books? I'm like, do you ever play Dungeons & Dragons? Hoster the Unspeakable? Like, you mentioned his name, he shows up. You talk about comic books.
You're right there. I love it. Yeah, I'll get you on our show calendar. I'd love to have you on. That'd be great.
I just got to answer this question. What Geeks Do Network, who also created the music intro, I'm shipping as we speak. I'm taking a break to talk with my friend over here, and I hope to be completely done by end of Post Office Day on Saturday. So surrounded by boxes and
that's awesome.
Everything
Good
like
for you.
that. Yeah. So I'm trying to, I've been in your chat before. Okay. Yes. I thought I recognized the name. Mighty Mascots, triple size. So.
Oh, thank you, Marcus.
Yeah. Marcus.
Links. We're so close to hitting the goal too, which, we're 81%. So I'm hoping to get there before the end of the 9 days. If not, we're just going to go another 30 and then in demand. So I'm hoping to deliver, let me see, the book itself. I have about 25 pages penciled and inked. And I think we have about 12 colored and maybe about 5 lettered. So we're moving, we're actually proceeding with the book, even though we don't have the funding goal yet. So,
and this is all your same team from issue 1 to now.
Yes, we've kept the same team. Isn't that nuts? It usually doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen that much anymore these days.
No, it doesn't. It just worked out that way, and it's been great. And every time I tap on those guys, they're ready to go. So I was like, "This is awesome."
The team that I have now, if they're willing, I'll stay with them for as long as we can.
Yeah. Definitely. That's once you connect with an artist, that's like, it's hard to go away from. And I've worked with a number over the years on different books, and Ian and Anton, they're quick. They don't complain, nothing. And we have very little, I send them thumbnails, I send them the script, and 95% of the time they nail it, with no changes, and it's great. So it's a good team to work with.
It's funny. Renzo says I keep asking, what do you like to draw? And he's like, women. I like to draw sexy women. So I actually, there's a female character, Mary Sue is the name of the character in issue number 2. It's funny because I it's still all ages, but it was a little racy.
Okay.
He toned it down.
Really?
Renzo toned it down. I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, think about it. Even those all ages back in the 80s when DC was all ages, Wonder Woman was still a little busty.
Yeah, I don't know how many times the Scarlet Witch was imprisoned in a liquid container,
right?
And then it had like bubbles covering up the bits.
Right. Yes. Oh my God! Yeah, you're so right.
But I was just like, wow, you toned it down. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah. Whatever,
So when you guys you get less sexiness next issue, it's actually Renzo's fault. It's my fault. but I'm goofing. So I'm gonna close down now because at 8:30 I'm gonna go over to the Fourth Age. We alternate Wednesdays and we do
okay.
comic book team up. And it's gonna be RJ from the Fourth Age, the Don from Don Draws, myself talking on RJ's channel over at the Fourth Age. So if we could rush over there, and have
definitely
a Bancroft bump over on RJ. And again, I talk way too much. So anything you want to say as we close out?
No, I just want to. Well, first of all, thank you, John, for having me on.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. I'm glad our orbits finally crossed here. And I just want to say to everybody, if you like fun comics, you like fun superhero comics, definitely check this series out. I think you'll love it. If you're missing fun books, this is one.
Right. It is fun.
And when I say all ages, I always say it's all ages in a good way. It's not like the YA stuff that they sell at Barnes and Nobles now. It's all ages in the way Batman the Animated Series is all ages. It's that kind of book. There's real stakes. Even though they're serial mascots, I treat it like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The way Laird and Eastman treated the Turtles in those early issues where it was all serious. Even though you're reading this absurd concept, it was... so that's what Mighty Mascots is. A lot of fun. If you're not looking for the toys, come and check out the book. There's digital options. There's a catch-up tier, so check it out. And then also, if you're looking for another YouTube channel, my buddy Johnny C, who's another great indie comic creator, and our friend Harry do a show called Indie Comics Relay. And
is that the name of the channel?
It's the name of the channel, yeah. So
Indie
check
Comics
that one
Relay.
out.
Okay.
And I like I said, just appreciate you having me on. And
no problem. Guys, we got a bunch of people watching. I'm just curious. Is there people that like never heard the comic? We're introducing a new audience because I'm going to back this now. I stopped backing live because I think my credit card information might get out there. So
Zach, he said there better be scandalous references that fly over the children's heads, or I will be disappointed. Unfortunately, I don't do that, but maybe I'll try something down the road or something.
But it's a comic book of, like you said, of a Saturday morning cartoon.
Saturday morning cartoon brought the comic book form, basically.
Right, back when comic book when cartoons were allowed to have conflict.
Yep.
Absolutely. Somewhere I guess I became a young adult, and then you put on Saturday morning cartoons, and it was like the power of love will solve all the problems. Let's all share. You're like, where's Daffy Duck swallowing a match, blowing up in front of everybody? That's my favorite gag of all cartoons.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's so funny. But yeah, you're right. Those old cartoons, you would never get a Thundar the Barbarian nowadays. You kidding me? They would never make that cartoon now. I don't even think it's not that they can't make that. It's not that they wouldn't make that. I just don't think they have the imagination. They don't have the imagination.
They don't have people that like.
We don't have a Kirby. We don't have a Toth anymore.
Right. And then they send out all this. Everything looks the same. I know there's a word for all this animation stuff. Brian Bao does animation. He could talk, but it's like
it all looks like a
factory.
Yeah, I agree. It all has that same kind of look to it.
It looks like low effort factory cartoons,
Yeah, agree 100%.
I'm not a fan. I'm also not a fan of 3D animated cartoons. I like old school. To me, the pinnacle of cartoons was the Max Fleischer Superman.
Dude, I love those. Those are so good. So good.
We got confirmation. DC Miller, 20 years in animation. It's Blue Hair Dead.
Blue Hair Dead. Okay.
I gotta say, Primal. I watched the
so good. That's a great one.
I gotta watch it. I just avoided it because I didn't like Ren and Stimpy. I don't know.
You gotta watch Primal. It's incredible the way there's no dialogue because it's a caveman and a dinosaur.
I watched the first 5 episodes. I was really into it. And then
it gets even better, believe it or not. Like this, when you get into the second season, you start like going, "Oh my god, the stuff that they're doing." I encourage you to go back and finish it.
I
It's
will.
so good.
But I really have to go. I got 3 minutes before. I'm
Yeah,
on.
definitely, John.
And my
John, thanks
wife's
so
up real
much. And yeah, let's end this one so you can get to your other stream. But I appreciate you, and I'll email you some dates, and we'll have you come on Indie Comics Relay.
Thank you so much. And guys, consider go just check out the comic. You know, buy one issue or two. I guarantee you'll like it. It's a fun comic.
Awesome. Thank you, John.
Good night, everybody. See you over at the Fourth Age on YouTube. Bye bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.